Greetings, and welcome back to my tea adventure. My name's Aaron, and normally on this channel I'm in the kitchen, trying recipes, keeping my fingers crossed, and then chaos ensues, but then somehow it all magically comes together reasonably well, or at the very least it's edible. However, recently I got to go on a field trip, and I had the distinct privilege of having an Easter high tea at Le Petite Cuillère, which is a tea house in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood of Vancouver. So I thought that I would take this opportunity to talk a little bit about my high tea experience, talk about the things that I liked, talked about a couple of things that maybe I didn't like so much or that I would have changed, but hopefully I will inspire you to visit the Le Petite Cuillère tea house next time you are around the Vancouver area. So get comfy, get yourself a cup of tea, and let's go on our next tea adventure.
Welcome to La Petite Cuillère.
First off, the space that they're using for this tea house is very small, and the thing that struck me as soon as I walked in was how well they had used the space. It's a very long, narrow tea house, but they've still managed to make a lot of it very intimate with the way that they've arranged the tables and the type of seating that they have, particularly at the far end. They've got some custom seats that they've built, and they are both very elegant and very aesthetically fun to look at. And so that visually makes the tea house very engaging as soon as you enter. The other thing that I noticed when I walked in that I loved was, of course, all of the vintage aesthetic everywhere. There was lots of vintage teacups. There were teaspoons on display. They had an old telephone, very similar to the one that I actually have in my own house. So I felt right at home because of all of the vintage decor that they had around. Now, that being said, there was kind of this disconnect between all of the very modern furniture that they had and the vintage aesthetic. There was a lot of different colors that were sometimes working well and sometimes weren't working well. And so visually, it did become quite overwhelming. But that being said, I love having lots to look at, and there was definitely a lot to look at in this tea house. Now on to the important stuff, the food and drink. The tea menu itself is very diverse. There's a wide range of black teas and green teas, and I myself had a white tea, which was absolutely delicious. So lots of different tea options to suit your taste, as well as some other beverages in case you're not quite in the tea mood that day, which does happen, I know. So that was a great way to start off the experience, was just reading through all of the different tea options that they had. And then after a few minutes, it was a very quick wait, our tea service was brought out to us. I have to say that as soon as they put the tea service down, I was just stunned because the serving tray that they had it on was absolutely gorgeous. I loved having the big circular 3-tiered tray. It was essentially a wall of food, which was absolutely fantastic, and it was very fun to look through. The most fascinating thing was that the bottom tier of savories had no sandwiches on it, which was a bit surprising, but at the same time kind of developed this air of mystery, because when you're kind of expecting tea sandwiches and then no tea sandwiches arrive, then you've got a whole bunch of kind of surprising little goodies to try.
The closest thing to a sandwich on the tier was a chicken salad wrap, which was good. There was also a mushroom and caramelized onion quiche, as well as a tea-infused egg salad bite on a cracker, and then a smoked salmon and feta filo and a crab and cheese puff pastry.
I really enjoyed all of the savories that were served. The highlights for me were definitely the crab and cheese puff pastry and the egg salad thing. I don't know what it was called, but it was so good. Their tea-infused egg salad was probably the best egg salad that I've ever had. It was delicious. The only thing that took away from it was that it was served on a sesame cracker. Now, I got where they were going with this. They wanted to add some crunch into their egg salad, and I approve of that. That was a great idea. But the cracker itself just felt really thin. I wanted more crunch, dare I say it. So I thought maybe if it had been served on a toasted piece of bread, or maybe some sort of a thicker cracker, that might have given that additional crunch to it. But the tea-infused egg salad, wow, oh my gosh, it was absolutely amazing. I wish I had the recipe. The other things that were served, the smoked salmon phyllo and the mushroom and caramelized onion quiche, were both good, which surprised me because I'm not a fan of kind of smoked salmon in general or mushrooms, but I found that the caramelized onion with the mushrooms was actually a really, really nice savory combination. So I was pleasantly surprised by everything on the savory tier. They were definitely all delicious, and if anyone from the restaurant wants to give me the recipe for the egg salad, please DM me, because yeah, so good. Go there just for the egg salad.
Next, let's talk about the scones.
The scones were, again, a tea-infused scone. Their whole menu was very inspired by tea. So the scones were tea-infused. They were very good, but as you can see, they were very small, and we only got one scone each. And they were so good, I would have liked another one, or at least a bigger scone. So definitely recipe, taste, mwah, perfect, so good. I just wanted more. I just wanted more because they were so good. Now, finally, we're going to talk a little bit about the sweets tier.
On the top tier was a cupcake, a blueberry cheesecake square, a berry panna cotta, a raspberry choux pastry, and a layered cake.
Now, I really did find that this tier was kind of hit or miss. It looked visually very impactful. The way that they had done the sweets were using a lot of bright colors, which I definitely got kind of the Easter vibes that they were going for. The desserts themselves all kind of stood out individually, but really didn't work together as well as I would have expected them to. I felt like the cupcake and the layered cake were both kind of dense and dry, and the addition of the bright colors really didn't add anything to the actual display itself. The layered cake was served with kind of a malt Easter egg on top, and I didn't really see the connection with the rest of the flavor profile, aside from the fact that it just kind of fit within the Easter theme. There was also an Easter egg on top of the panna cotta, and again, the flavors of the malt and the chocolate and the panna cotta custard really didn't kind of jive as well as I would have liked them to. Now, the panna cotta itself, aside from the egg, was really good. It was delicious. So I enjoyed that. The egg kind of just felt like an Easter token that had been put on top. Now, the two remaining things, the blueberry cheesecake square and the choux pastry, were both absolutely delicious. Now, I see that the blueberry cheesecake is part of their regular tea menu, so please, when you go there, enjoy this. It's very, very good. The choux pastry was absolutely fantastic. There was so much cream filling inside, and I think it was a raspberry cream. It was just so flavorful, and the way that it was presented was really visually striking. So I would say, between that, the cheesecake and the panna cotta, that the sweets were really good. The other two were fine. I just didn't really see the cohesion with the rest of the presentation. Overall, this was a really enjoyable tea experience. The things that I'm mentioning are just little tweaks and personal opinions that I had, and do not reflect on the overall experience that Le Petite Cuillère gives you when you go and enjoy the tea house. Now, I will say that the tea itself is a little bit on the pricier end, so just be aware of that if you're making reservations. But if you're looking for a nice place to relax, have a quiet cup of tea, and enjoy some delicious savories and sweets, then go to Mount Pleasant, check out Le Petite Cuillère, and enjoy the experience that they offer. If you're new here, check out some of my other tea videos where I try and make high teas myself. Be warned, I am in no way a professional baker, and I just try my best, and I have a good time doing it, and sometimes they turn out. And I hope to showcase that no matter what your baking ability, because mine isn't particularly high, you should be able to put on a delightful high tea for your family and friends. Please consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel if you want to see some more high tea shenanigans. And if there's a tea house in the Vancouver area that you think that I should go and check out and report back on, comment below. Let me know, and I'd love to go and try a new afternoon tea experience. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you on my next tea adventure. Cheers!